You do not outrun German armor. That was the rule. You do not outgun it. You do not outmaneuver it. You do not survive it. By the summer of 1941, this rule feels absolute. German Panzer divisions slice through Europe with mechanical precision. Poland collapses in weeks. France falls in 42 days. Every staff officer, every tanker, every general believes the same truth. German armored warfare is unstoppable. The Wehrmacht builds its confidence on numbers and doctrine. Coordinated radios, veteran crews, Panzer III and IV tanks that seem modern, disciplined, invincible. When Germany turns east, the assumption follows them across the border. Soviet armor will shatter on contact. German intelligence reinforces the belief. Soviet tanks are slow, poorly armored, badly led, easy prey. And then, in 1941, on muddy fields west of Moscow, one weapon breaks that rule. Not in theory, not in design papers, but in fire and steel. And one man inside it proves the Germans are wrong. You are Dmitry Lavrinenko. You are 26 years old. You come from the Kuban region, raised around horses and open land, not factories or academies. You joined the Red Army before the war, learned tanks when the Soviet Union still struggles to build them properly. You are not famous, you are not well connected, you are simply competent and calm under pressure. By October 1941, you command a T-34 medium tank in Colonel Mikhail Katukov's 4th Tank Brigade. The Germans are driving toward Moscow. Their objective is simple: break Soviet resistance before winter, seize the capital, end the war. The Red Army is bleeding, entire divisions disappear, crews fight with barely trained replacements, fuel runs low, ammunition arrives late. But something new rolls into the line: the T-34. It looks crude to German eyes, rough welds, poor optics, cramped interior, but it carries 3 truths the Germans underestimate: sloped armor, a 76.2 millimeter gun, and wide tracks that do not sink into mud. This moment matters because Germany's entire armored doctrine assumes superiority. If that assumption fails, if German tanks cannot dominate, the Blitzkrieg collapses. And now, outside the village of Msensk, you face the test. German armor advances. Orders come down the line. Stop them. The engine roars to life beneath you. Diesel, not gasoline, less likely to explode. You feel the vibration through your boots as the T-34 lurches forward. Fog hangs low over the field. Mud sucks at tracks. Visibility drops to few hundred meters. You do not charge. You wait.
German Panzer IIIs roll forward in column formation, confident, exposed. Their commanders expect Soviet tanks to break and run. You let them close. 800 meters, 600, 400. You whisper the order. The gunner fires. The 76 millimeter shell slams into the lead panzer. Armor buckles. The tank erupts in flame. The column halts in confusion. You move immediately, engine screaming, tracks biting through mud that traps German vehicles. A second shot. Another panzer burns. German return fire cracks against your hull. The sound is sharp, metallic, but harmless. Their 50 millimeter guns cannot penetrate your sloped armor at this range. You flank them. You never stop moving. Third shot. Fourth. Radio chatter explodes among German crews. They report a new tank, thick armor, impossible angles, shells bouncing like stones. You pull back into cover, relocate, reappear from another direction. Each time you fire, another Panzer dies. In one engagement, you destroy 7 German tanks. This is not luck. This is design meeting skill. Over the next weeks, the pattern repeats. Near Serpukhov, near Volokholamsk, outside Moscow's outer defenses. You ambush, you maneuver, you strike first. German crews aim carefully, fire accurately, and watch their shells ricochet. You close to 500 meters, 400, 300. Your gun penetrates cleanly. The enemy burns. By November 1941, you have destroyed 52 German tanks in less than 3 months. No other tanker, on either side, matches the number in that time frame. The Germans adapt. They deploy anti-tank guns. They call in artillery. They attempt airstrikes. On December 18th, near the village of Pokrovskoye, shrapnel tears through the air. A mortar round lands close. Fragments slice through your position. You survive the tank battles. You do not survive the shrapnel. Dmitry Lavrinenko dies at 26. If you find this kind of forgotten military history as fascinating as we do, we'd be honored if you'd hit that subscribe button. We believe these stories of courage and sacrifice deserve to be told, and by subscribing, you help us ensure they aren't forgotten. What the Germans don't realize, at first, is how dangerous this moment is.
The T-34 is not an anomaly. It is not a prototype. It is mass-produced. German after-action reports begin to change tone. Confidence gives way to concern. Panzer crews request closer engagement ranges. Commanders warn of new Soviet tanks immune to standard fire. The response is frantic. Germany accelerates development of the Panther tank. They upgun the Panzer IV. They rush new anti-tank weapons into service. All of this costs time. Time Germany does not have. Outside Moscow, German momentum stalls. Winter sets in. Soviet counteroffensives push the Wehrmacht back for the first time in the war. The T-34 becomes the backbone of Soviet armored forces. Over 80,000 will be built. It fights from Stalingrad to Berlin. Germany never truly solves it. Not fast enough. And the rule is broken. German armor is no longer untouchable. Dmitry Lavrinenko is buried near the battlefield where he fell. For years, his record goes under-recognized, lost in the chaos of war. He never sees victory. He never sees Berlin. He never turns 27. But his actions echo through every armored engagement that follows. The T-34 becomes a symbol not of perfection, but of resilience. Simple, brutal, effective. Today, restored T-34s sit in museums across Europe. Their armor still bears scars. Their tracks still smell of oil and steel. And behind one of them once stood a young man from the Kuban who proved that even the strongest rules can be broken. If this story moved you, please hit that like button. Every click tells the algorithm this piece of history is worth remembering. We're dedicated to rescuing these forgotten stories from the archives. If you want to join us on this mission, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Where are you watching from? Drop a comment with your city or country and tell us if someone in your family served. thank you for ensuring that Dmitry Lavrinenko and the men of the 4th Tank Brigade do not disappear into silence. They deserve to be remembered.